Hi, welcome to all. We are going to explain today about the operations management. That's the topic we are going to explain. Is it audible?
Yes, yes, it is
Yes,
audible.
sir.
All right, so
Yes, sir.
let's start about the operations management. So let's move to first. Let's look ahead to the definition. So, what is the operations management? It's an administration of business of operation with an enterprise to achieve the best quality product and services. Uh, that means it's an operation management administration process. That means daily happening, and as well as it's a business process. It start from the functional, and as well as it's an enterprise in the sense like large scale of business. It's a large scale of business to achieve best quality products and services. We would start an example of a car manufacturing company. A car manufacturing company have the operational process, like they have to the first starts they have to start the met sheets or whatever the materials needed to make the cars. The procurement starts from there, and from that there is a different process happening, and from that the car manufacturer ends the process by getting a car to the customer. Here you can see while doing a car manufacturing process, the operations, you can see it's a large process is going on. So similar is an examples of operations. So this is it's a broad spectrum. Operations is a broad spectrum that is need to be very carefully and systematically and as well as analytically managed. So it's therefore involved with the most effective conversion of materials and labor into the products and services to maximize organizations' profit. Here, the maximum objective is to attain reach the goals. Reach the goals, that means from beginning, from the scratch to when it reaches the customer, the entire process is taking place. How systematically and how programmized the system. Let's see how it's taking place. The first process comes in organization. First process comes on planning. So let's see planning and as well as next for the organizing. This is the major functions in operations: planning, organizing, staffing, and directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. This is the major process functions in an operations management. And let's see how it's functional, and let's see how it can be operated. Each process, how it can be operated. Let's look into it. And operations management is a process. They have a lot of opportunities in globally. So normally, who are responsible for the operations management? Who are in any organization or any company? Who are the responsible persons for running the show? So mainly in any organization, so we have already seen in the earlier beginning of the slides, this is an enterprise system. That means the operation management company and a system that is a large business company or organizations. So who have the opportunities? Who have the opportunities in operation? So who's running the show? In a company, who's running the show in operations? Normally, the operation manager or operations head is the person is responsible for entire programming of the system. And as well as the next comes, or it can be as a chief operations officer. Some of the organizations or some of the companies normally they have deployed or they have employed a designation based on chief operations officer, or some of the companies they have VP in Vice President Operations, and almost all the industries have the operations managers. If you take any industry, if you take retails, if you take logistics, if you take
Salam
if you take automobile, or most of the industries, any kind of industries, you can see the operations role over there. So normally in operations um, are the second or third runners on the business. So they are, the first, most of the organizations, the directors, or then comes CEO, then comes, the operations, or COO, Chief Operations Officer, or VP Operations, or it's based on the industry, they can, deploy the operation. So it's very interesting, the operations, because it's very challenging and analytical as well as interesting career. So normally the operations department or operations managers run the show. So they're responsible for the any company. So normally when we are going to analyze the elements or functions of operations manager. Here, if any elements or functions of operations manager, normally that is the operations responsibility. So an operations managers, operation heads, or a chief operations officers responsibility is the role of an operations in a company. So they have to run the show. So let's see what the responsibilities or what the elements that is there in the operations management. So the first is the planning. The first process is the planning, and so what are the elements or characteristics in operations in the planning? Let's see on that. So the first responsibility in planning comes on clarify the purpose and direction. There is a direction is needed. If any manufacturing, suppose if it is a car, we said already car manufacturing company, clarify the purpose and direction. They have a planning where to start and where to end, and the process where ends, and what the activities and what the quality aspects has to take place. So entire planning and plotting is the first process. It's done by the operations manager, and defining the company's vision, mission, values, objectives, and how accomplish next experience. Here, vision means what's the company is looking for and what's their objective, and the mission in the sense what the company is going to achieve in the future years, in the coming years, what the company is going to plan achieve. So that is the responsibility of the operations, the planning, and the process. And so it's have a clarify the purpose of direction, begin by defining your company's vision. Vision is the plan, company's plans, what is the aspect the company is looking for. Mission means what they are going to achieve in the future years, and values in objective to how accomplish next few years, and the values all other aspects. So the planning be the primary element of operations. Then comes on conduct situational analysis. So on based on the situation, how the progress is going on, how the progress is going on, where it started, and where it started, and where is the process remaining now, and what is their an operations individual or operations responsible person definitely has to plan daily, weekly, or monthly plans, monthly and yearly, what achievements they have to attain on a regular basis. So they have to analyze that, what they have to achieve in a daily basis, and as well as what they have to achieve in a weekly monthly and yearly basis. And based on the company's financial year ends, they have to be achieved their objectives and goals. The planning is a continuous process or studying and as well as planning the process of how they're reaching the objective, whether they are regularly reaching the objective. It's the planning is the lead that is leading to a company or their achievements. And the next comes on set target, strategic objectives and goals. We have already mentioned strategic objectives and goals. They have an objectives already planned, whether they are obtaining their or reaching their plans or objectives. That is what here refers it. And the next one, develop and implement action plan. And the based on the analytics. So we are discussing about the planning in operations. So based on the planning in operations, they have to analyze their weekly or it can be daily. There are organizations, they have daily monitoring the process, daily monitoring and as well as daily. And that could be much more than easy analytical process. If it is, the drawbacks and their, if any drawbacks is there or if any achievements is there and where they are stands now, it's easy to identify the process because if a daily analytics will easily identify where they stands at this point of time. So based on that, analytics, they can the planning person or the operations can do the daily corrections based on the implementation plan. It can, if they are behind the schedules or behind the plans or behind what they are to achieve, they can easily segregate or easily identify their goals and they can reach the destination very easily. So a planning is a clarification and direction is needed, mission is needed. A situation analysis, it can be daily, monthly or yearly, where they have to achieve and then based on that. We set an example of a car manufacturing company. They may have plans. Monthly, they have to produce this much 500 cars. So in that case, they have to work accordingly from all the process between. And as well as if it is, they have to identify or they have to check monthly where they're going to, where they are at the moment, what they planned, and what is the drawbacks, setbacks, whether they had any setbacks or they are satisfactorily moving ahead. All these parameters very well operational or they can be identified to the planning. So because the other beauty of the operations is because there any particular hierarchy, any organization, different departments will be there. Any organization there will be different departments. So it will be because all the departments have the independent authority. So where the independent authority, that case whether you have a element, the operations have the right to interfere all the departments on the functional process. So that can be help reaching the objectives. So let's go to the next element or characteristic. So next comes on organizing. Organizing in the sense detailed roadmap. So prepare a detailed roadmap. Here, organizing means planning. This include planning that we have discussed in the earlier slides, and as well as leading. Planning is already over. Then the next comes. They have to lead. I've already mentioned here because the operations have the authority, or the management would have given the authority to give the guidelines or the department for the smooth functional process. So if it is suppose if it is a quality department or if it is a procurement department or if it is a or any other related production department, they cannot interfere, or they cannot give the guidelines each and every department. So, or they cannot guidelines, and they cannot check the development of the daily process. That can be possible. Why we talking about the example of a car manufacturing company? That won't be possible in the case of any other department. But operations, they can. We have already explained the planning has done. Then the next, they are based on the planning, they have to lead and they have to inform. This is the we are planning. This is the process we are planning to achieve, and we are planning to make 500 cars per month. So based on that, we have to plan. So based for that, we have to lead. This is the process we have to lead. We need the process to so that the process has to be communicated. That means the operation has to lead. So that is the next responsibility of the operations. Then comes controlling. So where if it is a procurement, procurement has procuring a much bigger quantity of materials, or rather than require the necessity. So they can the operations can interrupt and inform. So, and as well as inventory, the procurement of these, when the procurement became higher, or when the procurement leads or procurement increases, that will definitely going to affect the company's capital as well, because the inventory, when inventory reaches, then the required the necessity, that will be affect the company's capital budgeting as well. So the controlling is also necessary, where is anything happen on the excess or shortage or shortfalls is there on the procurement for any objective or any material which is required for the car making factory or car making company. So that can be analyzed and that can be worked accordingly. And the controlling is the another objective or characteristic if it is in the organizing. And the next characteristic in operations we would explain is the staffing. Here, staffing is any industry, any organization, or any enterprise. The staffing is any organization's growth. Staffing or manpower allocation, appropriate manpower allocation is very much needed for the successful achievement of the goals. So here the staffing or manpower allocation comes on. Assess the current. First, they have to. Already we have already mentioned there's a plan, and planning is done in the beginning stages. So based on that, they would have already planned the operations. They would have already assessed. So to make 400 cars, how many employees are required, or automation. When it is automation for making a car, or making a car company, or making a cars, or it's mainly you would have you might be knowing. So making a car company, there's a lot of automation or robotic comes as well. So here the manpower, even though there is a large number of manpower is needed, so how many manpower is required? So based on that, the plan to recruit or allow the manpower required for the plant, assess the current workforce, and the HR department definitely they have been the set up the manpower required for their operations, but the responsible for the recruitment is purely the HR department. HR department give a comprehensive understanding the current workforce. They would have made a job description or job responsibility about the workforce. When a car manufacturing company, what all the employees or what are the staffs required for that, from the beginning to at the end, from the beginning of the factory, from materials planning to at the end of the process, when it is reached to the customer, the sales comes on, and marketing, then sales comes on. So at that point of time, from beginning to making to at the end of beginning, so they would have calculated this much manpower is required. So based on that, work out current workforce, and then forecast future needs. They would have planned. There was a attritions, resignations will be there. So based on that, forecast future needs. They would have made a. They would have forecasted, because normally all the companies HR department will forecast attrition. That means that they would have calculated an attrition level, so they know, or this is the persons normally in all the companies. There's a particular percentage of in all the industry. If you take any industry, if it is a retail industry, or if it is a logistics or supply chain industry, or if it is a banking, or if it is automobile, or if you take any industry, there will be attrition parameters. Normally, this particular industry, the attrition levels in any company is almost similar, will be there. So when the attrition level means the employees are leaving in the organization, and as well as employees are joining in the organization. So they would have a data. This is the monthly attrition, I think monthly employees are leaving from the organization. So naturally, they would have worked out the future needs. Based on that, they would have assessed the future needs, and gap analysis would be done based on that. Gap analysis in the sense how much is the shortfalls, or how much is that, whether they have an excess. So excess is there. They would have based on their job description, they would have deployed any other based on a similar departments, or etc. Or if it is they would have, if manpower is very much extra, that will be effective for the company's growth. And so naturally they have to be terminated. So work out the gap analysis and implement strategies. Implement strategies, map risks and assign tasks. Give the tasks to the based on employees, and give a training, and give the assign the tasks to the employees. Monitor and evaluate. The continuous monitoring system is there. All the organizations, they continuously monitor what is the staff's productivity. In any, even nowadays, almost even a smaller organization, there is an organization with 100 employees, or maybe 200 employees, have a daily productivity or monitoring system, whether they are productive on a daily basis, or they have even the production segments, or even if it is a consultancy or any kind of organization, they are very well concentrated on daily monitoring and the productivity system. So here we are talking about the enterprise system, that is bigger organizations. So here, such a large organizations, the employees will be larger, and they also have a clearly monitoring system, or the productivity analytical system also there. So that is the so give the ensure the operations has to ensure the staffing, our productivity, and the recruitment, and as well as based on the requirement is balanced, it's going smoothly, or they have to work on the gap analysis, and they have to instruct the HR department to get the necessary staffs for the functions. Let's move on to the next characteristic of operations, that is directing. So directing in the sense, assess current workforce, that is already we have mentioned, because directing, the responsibility of directing lies assessing the current workforce as well. So guiding them. So guiding the workforce, and where else they can see the productivity is less, or where they can see shortfalls are there. So allocate accordingly based on their job description. And supervising is essentially there. So almost large enterprise companies, supervising are there. So supervising are the persons, they are controlling the younger, that means the junior workforce. So supervisors control and monitor them, and on top of supervisors, there will be assistant managers or managers. So they're directing them to the work allocation, or as well, the function is operations are moving on smoothly. And leading in the sense they have to supervise, they have to mention that they have, because if it is an organization with 1,000 employees are there, the operations cannot supervise each of everything. So normally that is the reason supervisors are there in such an organizations to look after the workforce or the junior level staffs and leading them, as well as give the motivations and monthly appreciations and recognition programs and motivations, and make them happy, and give the all the guidelines given by government, what are the guidelines given by the government, and so based on that lead them. Lead means lead the organization and lead the manpower and lead the vendors. They would have maybe vendors activities, they have to interfere and they have to see what all the requirements are needed. So at the end, the smooth functioning, they have to direct them, the smooth functioning of the organization. That is the responsibility of the operations. At the end, any operative aspects, like if it is vendors are normally, the companies are vendors. Normal vendors means the companies purchasing them, companies or outside or subcontractors from outside. So they are the normally vendors. So certain cases they have to support vendors. There are companies, it's already happening. Such operations that have been support to vendors for the smooth functioning as well, because they have to get the product. If it is a car company, they have to get the product. They have to get the materials to build the bodybuilding, and they have to get the engines that's coming from, might be coming from abroad, or might be coming from globally, or they may domestically. So they have to work on that, getting the directing them. Operations has to work or control them or support them. So in those aspects, they have to naturally support the vendors as well. So lead them and motivating the employees to accomplish organizational goals. So at the end, whatever comes on, whatever speaks on, an organization will grow only if a manpower support, or they have to be motivated, they have to be happy on. So they can make the programs, because I've seen that there are companies, operations are organizing the motivation programs, and such a motivations, whatever they can do as per the different different places, different countries, and different places. They have their own cultural programs or entertainment programs. So based on that, they can motivate. That is also because there are normally, everyone will say a company's company, and a company's success is based on the employees, sincere employees. So direct them or give the necessary guidelines, or coordinate HR department for the smooth functioning of the manpower process. That's also operations normally take care of this. So the next comes on coordination. They have to coordinate each and every process of each every process, as well as we have mentioned, they have to coordinate with each and every process, and they have to coordinate mainly. We have in the beginning, so we mentioned they have to coordinate with all the department we have, because they have the authority to coordinate all the department, and from the, and as well as here the assistants coordinate in the all the department, means getting the assistance, from all the departments. Getting the assistance from all the department is the another factor, because coordination means that they, because we have already mentioned the earlier starts, HR department is the major gap analysis and manpower deployment. So definitely a proper sync is needed between HR department. Similarly, finance department. So for the operations functions, the company's budgeting, and companies fund flow, all are necessary process. If the companies, they have to ensure, because the finance manager has to ensure the proper company fund flow is there. So, and because they have to fulfill, the finance department has to fulfill the functions or the requirements of operations department. So here I would like to mention the coordination between all the department. So the operation has coordinated with the finance department, they could coordinate with HR department, they have coordinated with the production department, they have coordinated with the sales department, they have coordinated with marketing, they have to coordinate with the digital marketing. So they have to coordinate any department, any all the companies, all the department they have to coordinate. They have to coordinate any organizations or any organizations, all these departments. So in that point of view also, they have to be leaders, the operations department or operations managers. The operations managers or operations vice president or operations head or chief operations officer, or they are whoever is running the show or who is responsible for the operations. They have to have a leadership qualities and they should have a very coordinating or cooperative mentality as well. And clear objectives or determine the programs is one of the aspects of coordination we have mentioned already. This coordination is necessary for all the departments by the operations, and as well as objectives to determine the program, and as well as communication. So we said already the operations individual has to be a leader because they have to take the leadership or the process. So for all the process, they have to take the leadership. So in that case, they should have a effective communication. So how effective communication takes place? So effective communication takes place. Anybody can develop effective communication. So they can take necessary steps or they can learn the factors and mode of communication and method of communication, how to be pleasantly interact with everybody. So that is, it's a learning process or it's an expertise process. It's a day by day when you're communicating day by day, naturally your expertise in the communication is develops. Or if anybody feels weak on communication, there is a lot of platforms available to improve the communication to be effective in operations. And cooperation in the sense the syncing with all the departments or all the individuals and all the required aspects, or even if it is vendors or anybody in the organization to fulfill to work done in the operationally. So we said an example of the car manufacturing company. So such companies might be 15, 20 departments will be there. So they have to coordinate all in their department. Structure and hierarchy. It's based on the structure and they have to, because they rather than they can support HR for obtaining or maintaining a structure or hierarchy. Structure means the organization structure, and hierarchy means how the reporting system flows from top to bottom. So here, hierarchy means the hierarchy in a company comes on stakeholders or directors, stakeholders or directors. Then comes on general manager or CEO. Then comes operations, then comes department heads, then the managers, then the supervisors, then assistant managers, then supervisors, then the workforce, and so on based on the different departments. So the hierarchy is go on in large numbers. When we are talking about the enterprise, hierarchy will be, when we're talking about hierarchy will be much broader or it will be large. So structure, because they can support based on, because rather than, because they are in the flow or they are in the process. So rather than, they have an idea how, because they can guide HR regarding the hierarchy aspects. And flexibility is essential for the successful development or successful smooth show running by the operations. So it's normally the management experts normally mention the flexibility is necessary for operations authorities, because if an operations personnel is adamant that the show may not be run in a smooth manner. So the flexibility is very essential as per the management expertise. And monitoring and feedback. So we have already mentioned that coordination also monitoring takes place. We have already mentioned what is the monitoring here means. And the leadership already we have explained at this point itself what is the leadership aspects and what are required in the leadership aspects as well. So the next characteristic of operations comes on reporting. Sales reporting with then example reporting in the sense sales reporting with KPI, sales reporting with KPI. Sales reporting in the sense KPI means key productive indicator. So any designation or any department or any segment, there are key productive indicators. Key productive indicators in the sense what they have to achieve, each individual, what is the responsibility, what is the responsibility given to the that particular individual, whether they are reaching that responsibility or that schedule or that target, whether they're reaching sales in the concern sales reporting the key productive indicator, whether they're reaching that particular um aspect or productivity given to them, because key productive indicators they have received already, and based on that analyze trends and identify, because operations have the even even a sales manager is there, operations have the right to sync or coordinate and monitor and give the guidelines and ensure that they are reaching the key productive indicators, and based on the analysis and based on the trends, and they have to identify the areas for improvements. And the next comes on reporting is the inventory management. Any companies, capital, any organizations, any enterprise capitalize on inventory. Inventory management is the success for the company's development, because inventory in the sense it's we could say it's a stock. If because the stock's always based on always stock has to be always based on the demand and supply, or requirement, or sales. Uh, what is their projected sales, or what is their successful sales, or what is the achieved sales. So inventory is essentially based on the capital orientation. If the inventory is very higher, the companies, all the funds has to be invested on that. That may cause devastating effects. So, and suppose if it is a logistics or any industry, if it is inventory is in trouble, it's going to be a bullwhip effect. The bullwhip effect means it's a system that means demand as when if it is in the last 6 months the demand is very higher, the seventh month's demand is coming to the lower, but the production department as usual they used to produce the product in a large the same as the last 6 months, but suddenly in the seventh month the sales has come down, so there is the materials going to be piled up in their yard or their storage area. So this is going to be bullwhip effect. So that then that will be to overcome this phenomena or overcome this effect, the company may suffer or company may end to the loss of that particular month. So the inventory, that should be very careful while handling the inventory, because it has to be based on purely demand and supply. So any product, if it is not based on demand and supply. This is going to be a bullwhip effect. That means the materials or products they have stored or they have produced is going to pile up their yard or factory or they're in their warehouse. So that's going to be, then they have to suffer to sell out or clear it out. So they may have to give it to in a less price, or they have to suffer. So there is a proper analytics is needed in the inventory factors. So the financial reporting is the another factor. Finance is fund flow and based on the fund flow and how all the aspects, whether they have the how much they are investing, the how much the stakeholders are investing, and how much they are planning for the daily production process, and how much they are planning to the how much they are getting the profit. All these aspects they have to work on, and financial reporting also is essential, and the operations can very much coordinate with the finance department, and they can see what is the process, and based on that they can also they have to be for the smooth functioning of the operations, they need to have a financial reporting to know the company's cash flow. Then the customer service reporting is another factor, because any product, we said we started an example of car manufacturing company. Any product, the customer service reporting is essential, because the customer satisfaction is also the prime objective, because the production or the product, they have to be produced based on the satisfying the customer, or based on the customer trends, or present market trends, or if what the materials there are, or what is the present the market, what materials or what kind of cars are the individuals like at this moment. So if they produce that car only, the customer is going to buy it, or customer is going to be satisfied only, or the facilities are in their car. So while we saying an examples, if it is a car manufacturing company, the car's facilities, or what all the systems are available in the car based on this is an example, so it can be, you can relate with any product. The customer is happy when only they have to make satisfied, so they have to be customer satisfaction is essential point for the reporting. So they have to forecast, operation has to forecast the customer elements. They have the responsibility of monitoring, and they have to forecasting the customer service reporting, and the production report like so we already said earlier slides that in this particular company or particular product or particular car company, they are planning to produce 500 cars per month. Whether they are reaching, so it might be it should be 5,000 or it should be 500,000. They might be planning based on the product, they might be planning. So the production reporting, the operation has to see what's happening on the production side, whether they are fulfilling as planned. In the beginning, we already said we have planned, and they have to analyze the production status based on the live data, because data analytics is the key to any industry at this point of time or at this scenarios. So everything, every industry, any organization or any growing organization, we could see, or we could monitor, or we could observe. Any organizations are successful because they have any organization successful, and as well as presently they are successful, and as well as future they're going to be successful if they have a clear data management system, or data mining system is an important element. So the production, they have to see the data based on their plan. As per the data, they have to monitor and analyze the data, and based on that they have to see the production reporting is another responsibility of operations. And budgeting is the next responsibility or characteristics of operations. Budgeting in the sense income is very much essentially for a business, and fixed expenses, fixed capital expenses. They can be expenses. They have to have an idea what all are the expenses they have for the operation aspects. The operations have a projection. The operations and finance department mutually have to work out and see the projections of planning and analyzing. And as we mentioned in the earlier, when we reach satisfactorily developing a particular product for the customer satisfactorily. So the coordination of the finance department and as well as operations department are essential. Here in the case of budgeting, income and fixed expenses and debt is concerned. Debt is there. That is purely the finance management's part, even though the operations have an idea what's happening on flexible and unplanned expenses. There may be unplanned expenses may originate. That is anything unforeseen expenses may, because there is a natural calamities may come any particular, because they may have to stop the production to the natural calamities, maybe hurricane or a flood. In that case, the factory has to close in a particular region. That may their plans. So such is flexible and unplanned expenses that they have to definitely float and plan that. And savings also essential for a successful running and as well as expand the business. If they have a savings or they have savings in there, they can easily expand the business, and the diversification is possible, or to any other many organizations we could observe, because they are having a, when they are achieving these savings, then naturally they are diversifying their business activities in some other areas as well. So that is the about the budgeting. So naturally, the operations have a very high role on the financial aspects, or on as well as this all these financial aspects. So the next we have to analyze certain other aspects that is there on the operations as well. So here we would say general purpose operations management is to handle strategic issues. Any strategic issues, suppose they are planning to have the automation, because now the technology is at its peak. So every moment, any industry, there is new innovations are there, and new innovations are coming up. So when it is as a part of new innovations, they are because it's essential for the all the industry or the company who have handle strategic points. Though they may have, that can be, and they have automation. That means automation in the sense means, because they would have, if it is now the business is very global or universal. Now the business is very global and universal means because it's the business is not happening in a country wise. It's not happening in any country or anywhere. The business is not happening in a country basis, because it's not happening in a country basis. It's happening in globally. Globally means it's anywhere. So if it is a factory or if it is a organization, so definitely, and now we are talking about the enterprise, that is a large company or large organization. So they should be prepared for strategic issues. So if any particular industry or particular product, but some other country, suppose if they are into a particular country, but any other country, they have made an innovation in automobile or sorry, automotive, any automotive or any innovation or any algorithms. Algorithm in the sense, machineries and information technology mutually associated, and they are making any additional equipments that can be used in workplace. So that way we would say algorithms So based on that, any such particular industry happen to see a new innovation, because naturally that can be, say, maybe that can be possible to reduce manpower, maybe they can reduce manpower from 100 to 50. So the new automation or new innovation made possible to reduce the manpower 100 to 50, because then the management may need to invest innovation. So that case, that is the what we have used to explain handle strategic issues. Enhance the operational efficiency is needed, because operation. So enhance operational efficiency. What can be done? Because in that case, operation and human resources may mutually work together to obtaining their goals. Enhance operational efficiency, because for that the operation has to see or nurture their their capacity by attending or learning for the new aspect or new spectrum. Similarly, they have to give a continuous training to the all the employees. So continuous training they give, then only they will be get motivated and they will be sharpen their tool. That can be, then only they can sharpen their tools. So that is a method of operational efficiency. So here we would see like, so we are keep going on explaining the factors. So we would see here like, so, operations is there to have a beautiful, very enjoyable moment they can give a company. That means that they have very prominent role. They have to do in an organization. So enhance operational efficiency. They can support the necessary training to give the necessary training. All others coordinating with the HR department, and the company can achieve objectives. So, and the balance cost and revenue. Always any company, they should have, balance. They should have balance is cost and revenue. If it is that is not equalizing, and the cost is higher than revenue, it's very simple. Any individual know that's that organization is going to be in a loss, or that's going to be no more exist. That companies or that organization. So always it is very much conscious, and they have to be analyzed. They should be analyzed on the finance aspects and fund flows and the revenue aspects very much with the finance department. So they have to ensure the balance post with revenue. Otherwise, this is going to be, the stakeholders, all the deposits going to be win and generate high net profits. So they can learn or they can discuss and they can plan and they can program how they can improve or increase net profits by analyzing their achievements or targets in a. So the net profit they could be easily identified. They are into the near to the goals. They can identify in a daily. We already mentioned in the earlier slides that there is most of the, even any organizations are nowadays doing the daily, weekly, monthly, or um, or any meeting based monitoring system. So they would be able to know the where is the profit status going on daily basis. All right. So this is what I mean by generate high net profits. That could be an operations, and the management can easily the support of operations. So we would say like so to achieving or to reaching the high net profit or daily monitoring is possible, or it can be possible mainly through the operations department. They can do this monitoring or ensure to generate high profit rather than any other individuals in our organization. And so when we are discussing about general operations management factors, here let's see what is the strategic, how to be strategic issues can be handled by operations. Here the mandates is the primary objective. Mandates in the sense mandate means mandatory elements has to be fulfilled very effective manner. So that is the strategic issues, very mandatory or essential elements to be fulfilled or completed in a time management basis. That is the strategic mandates here in the means. And mission and values. So in any organization, the corporate governance is there. Corporate governance means there is rules and regulations set in anywhere in the world. If operating any company, any organization, any individual, even if it is an operations manager or any company, it's not possible to run the company which their own whims and fancies. There is certain rules, regulations are set in anywhere in the country. So that is what corporate governance is, the term used in the management. So mission and values is necessary. That is the law needed to be upheld by the particular country. So based on that law, so the mission and values are also that part strategic issue. And stakeholders, because the stakeholders requirement to work based on the stakeholders parameters is the another primary or important element. And internal analysis, that is we've already seen the earlier. But even though the while we talking about strategic issues, this internal analysis also takes place. Internal and external analysis. External analysis we would mention here, like the customers and vendors and customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is the prime objective, the particular products the companies or organizations development. Similarly, the vendors is also not in the scenes very much. Even vendors, similar subcontractors or whoever their roles, they have to be analyzed their part and their operations as well. And like external lines means the vendors, they have the because operations can work on the vendors or suppliers based on the quality products. If the quality is never be negotiated, so in that case, the operation has to look for, or the procurement operation has to advise procurement department to do the external analyze and the quality products. So that is so suppose an example, when a car manufacturer, we said we have from the beginning itself, we taken so many times the example of car manufacturing. So in order to get the materials they need for production of body materials, so the procurement department can coordinate with or operations department in the matter of because the procurement department never going to communicate with the customers, or they never need to know, or they were never going to know the customers' feedback. That is customer care department as well as the operations department and the more right to interfere and monitor the aspects along the customer care department. So in that case, this is what we are mentioned here, external analysis. And the next we're going to the enhanced operational efficiency. So the operational efficiency, so beginning itself we are saying operational efficiency is what are the other little more micro aspects of
Let me know something.
operational efficiency. Let's see that. And here micro aspects of operational is reduce operating cost. So we have already explained the previous slide. A car company, if they are buying the materials for body making, they can see where in the universe they can be obtained the quality products in an reduced. So That is one example where they can reduce the cost. Similarly, many aspects they can reduce the cost. This is an example. So they have to check each and every process. The procurement is the first beginning process from where to and the end when it is reaching the customer care or when it is reaching to the sales at that point of view, all the production and then sales, marketing, all these aspects they can see, they can analyze operations department along with the assistance of the others. They can see where they can reduce the operating cost, and as well as identify any inefficiencies. Inefficiencies in the sense that if it is they have to replace the machineries that has to be done. And the next, optimize the workforce. That means they have to see the any idle workforce is there anywhere that they have to work on it. And the next, improved decision making. Improved decision making is that means decision making person has to be there, or they have to support. They have a leadership abilities, or they can guide on decision making is also an important aspect. The increased competitive advantage. That means they have to watch what's happening on the product, whether anybody is making the better product than them. So what the strategy they're using. So all these aspects is the that's we refer to cognitive advantage. And invest in technology. We have already mentioned earlier. Automation is and innovations are the prominent roles taking place in this at this point of time. So that can be done. Invest in technology is essential for the better quality products. Monitor and measure in a perfect manner. That is the next responsibility lies on operations management. So that's here for today. I hope everything is clear that we have explained so far.
Sir, can you repeat a stakeholder, please?
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, a stakeholder, please. Can you repeat about the stakeholder?
Repeat what?
Stakeholder.
Oh, stakeholder. Yeah. Okay, fine. Stakeholder means normally those who are investing for the business. So stakeholder means overall they can be who's started the company, who's the directors, or later on they are whether they are converted to the shares, etc. So stakeholder means those who are the ownership lies on. They are normally directors. Is normally known as stakeholders. So are you clear? Hope everyone is clear. Thanks for being with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.